Why don't we get to Qatar?
All right, let's go ahead and put D1 up on the screen here, guys. We've got a Barak Ravid report that Netanyahu did, in fact, give Trump a heads up before Israel bombed Qatar. Of course, they were attempting to take out Hamas political leadership, which was there gathered to assess a ceasefire proposal that had been, put together probably by the Israelis, but floated by President Trump. Now, we had Jeremy Scahill on while this news was breaking of this attack on Hamas political leadership within Qatar. And immediately all of us said, it has to be the case that the U.S. had a heads up. We have CENTCOM there. We have tens of thousands of troops stationed in Qatar. There's no way that they could attack inside of Doha and feel like that would be okay without getting some sort of a heads up.
Totally.
So Barak Ravid here with the report says Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu informed President Trump last Tuesday morning that Israel planned to attack Hamas leaders in Qatar shortly before the strike took place, according to 3 Israeli officials with direct knowledge. Now, since then, Trump has come out to deny this report, and then the Israelis publicly said, oh, yeah, what he said. Sure, we totally didn't give him a heads up. He learned he says he learned the same way that all of us learned what was going on there. Okay, let's go ahead and take a listen to what Trump had to say.
Did Bibi Netanyahu speak to you directly to alert you that Israel was going to be striking Hamas sites in Qatar?
No, he didn't. Yeah, go ahead.
How did you learn of it?
Same way you did.
How did you learn the same way you did? Okay, sure. Prime Minister's office says the White House rendition of events is correct. Israel's action against Hamas leaders in Doha was a wholly independent Israeli operation. Israel initiated, carried it out, and takes full responsibility. Again, this comes after 3 Israeli officials leaked to Barak Ravid. Dude, of course we gave him, of course.
Right.
We gave him a heads up. And what that means is that you're given a green light. Because if the U.S. had said no, then they would not have done it. But if they say we're doing this and there isn't an objection, that is the same as there being an affirmative green light for this action. Now, why doesn't Trump want to claim that, wants to claim that he didn't know in advance? It's because, he doesn't want to be in hot water with the Qataris. He wants this plausible deniability that, Israel was allowed to bomb one of our allies in the region that he has positive relationships where, again, lots of U.S. troops are stationed. He wants to be able to deny that, even though, it's absurd to think that the Barak Ravid version of events isn't exactly what happened.
Oh, I mean, look, let's be clear here. Barak Ravid, at this point, he could be a stenographer for the Trump government, but he's also a stenographer, clearly, for some of the Israeli government. And I think really what has happened is that the Israelis are seeing very clearly that they were being blamed for striking Qatar without Trump approval. And while Netanyahu needs to maintain that fiction, the rest of his security cabinet's like, hold on a sec. The world needs the truth. We didn't do shit without America's approval. Trump had plenty of time to call this off. In fact, one Israeli official, a 4th one, reached out to Ravid and said, your story is 98% accurate. The only issue is you said your call was at 8 a.m. It was actually at 7:45 a.m. before the attack happened. That's the only quibble that I have with what you have reported. So, yeah, I mean, look, it always seemed the case. And that's what we even said. We were like, look, you have 2 options. Both are horrible. Israel feels compelled enough to be able to strike Qatar, literally without even calling the United States. The other is that we knew about it and lied. I honestly don't know which is worse. I think knew about it and lied is 10 times worse because now the reporting from the Israeli officials want to come out and set the record straight. And it shows also that the Qataris themselves, they look like a joke because their entire security strategy is buy hundreds of billions of weapons from Qatar, or from the United States. We will host a U.S. base that will and should protect us. And now the whole Gulf has woken up and said, oh my God, not only can they kill us, they killed one of our citizens. The attack failed. It didn't even kill the Hamas leaders that they wanted to. And the government will just say it's totally fine. I mean, Trump apologized for it, in that statement. Since then, the Secretary of State has been like, yeah, terrorists, they're going to get killed wherever they are. Okay. I mean, and that's why you see there's a Gulf confab right now where MBS and the Qataris and everybody's gathering and they're like, what are we going to do about this? They're realizing for the first time who's actually in charge. They thought they could buy America off and even their dollars. have not been enough to protect them. So
That's right.
good luck. And also, yeah, it's going to be great whenever they just look right across from the #1 purchaser of oil in the world, China, and say, hey, there's a nice, pretty relationship sitting right over there.
Yeah,
Good, great.
Absolutely right. At the same time, we're getting some leaks from within inside the Israeli administration about their actual reasons for the war with Iran, which of course were not the same as the public reasons that were given. We can put D4 up on the screen here. So this is from the Times of Israel. They say a historic moment. Leaked transcripts reveal secret deliberations at the start of the Iran war. They say Channel 13 News published the details as part of a report set to air in full. They did not detail how they obtained the transcripts from these top secret closed-door meetings. But Netanyahu said at the meeting's outset, we are at a historic moment with a crucial decision. If we don't stop them, being the Iranians, within a few years, they will get tens of thousands of kilograms of nuclear explosives within a few years. Remember how this was sold. It's imminent. The breakout time is, days, weeks, months away. We have to do this now. We can't wait. Within a few years, they will get tens of thousands of kilograms of nuclear explosives. Iran has already enriched fissile material at a level that is enough for 8 to 9 bombs. They're working on the weaponization. If we don't act, we simply won't be here. In addition, he said they're getting close to being the second biggest powerhouse on ballistic missiles. After we destroy some of their sites and scientists, negotiations for a deal will be held in a different reality. We've held marathon discussions over many months. An unnamed senior military official told the ministers that one of the goals of the operation was to create the conditions for preventing Tehran from going nuclear in the long term and to improve Israel's strategic balance. They also, of course, admit that they are completely reliant on the U.S. in terms of damaging Fordow. They said Fordow will be destroyed only if the U.S. attacks it, and warned that the basic assumption is at the end of the operation, Iran will still possess enriched material. In the first few days, they'll be able to launch hundreds of rockets toward Israel. So there you go. The actual rationale here. And one more, a senior intelligence official quoted as saying, there are surprising operations we've prepared for years. Some are against surface-to-surface missiles, in addition to an intelligence operation to disrupt enemy activities, including activity to destabilize the regime. So look, I mean, again, if you were watching our coverage, if you were following any of this, it would not be surprising that this was the reality of what was being discussed. It wasn't this imminent, oh my God, they're getting the bomb right now. It was years down the road, maybe we're concerned about this. And by the way, we're actively working to destabilize the regime. And by the way, we want to, use the US for our purposes to rebalance the balance of power in the region. So there you go, the actual rationale here.
Guys, they said this shit out loud. How many attacks did I take? How many? This isn't about regime change. It's just, what now? Huh? It's like every single time. They're like, you're a hater. They said it's just about the nuclear program. And Trump said, he says it behind the scenes. Regime change. It's not about an imminent nuclear threat. We're trying to kill as many civilians as possible to collapse the regime. What else is there to say, guys? It's out in the open. And they just lie and lie and lie. And they attack the people who warned about it. The very fact that we didn't, I mean, what should we give Trump credit for? He didn't give Bibi what he wanted. The full-on regime. Yeah, yet, right? It's like, look, we got taken for a ride if that wasn't the plan all along. Again, I'm not sure what is worse, that we believed Bibi that it was just about nukes or not, that we allowed them to bomb while we were in the middle of diplomacy or use the diplomacy as a ruse. Either way, the message is always simple, is that Israel gets to do whatever it wants. We will co-sign it on the back end or the front end. You can make up your mind as to which particular one is the absolute worst. I think both are horrific, and that's where we are.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple more things to get to here that are really significant. So the bombing campaign in Gaza City had already begun. Now the great ground invasion has also launched. Israelis are talking about how the bombing is so intense. They feared that they were under attack, but no, of course, it's still just the Palestinians. And this was very ominous. Go back to D0, guys. This was very ominous from Trump, for him to say this, he said on True Social, I've just read a news report that Hamas has moved the hostages above ground to use them as human shields against Israel's ground offensive. I hope the leaders of Hamas know that they're getting in what they're getting into if they do such a thing. This is a human atrocity, the likes of which few people have ever seen before. Don't let this happen, or all bets are off. Release all hostages now. And I mean, effectively, what people are reading into this is that they're trying to pre-justify the hostages getting killed in this bombing campaign, renewed bombing campaign and ground invasion in Gaza City. So when Trump says, oh, the hostages are above ground being used as human shields, then later on, if it ends up that the hostages are predictably killed in a sort of, all-out war assault on Gaza City, they can blame, oh, Hamas was using them as human shields. That's the reason that they ultimately got killed, not the incessant Israeli bombing and, by the way, starvation campaign. I also wanted to mention that this is significant, and perhaps Ryan and Emily will dig into this more tomorrow, but the UN Commission of Inquiry officially concluded that Israel is committing genocide. They're calling on, I'm reading from Prem Thakur now, the UN body calls on nations to stop sending weapons to Israel, ensure people within their jurisdiction are not aiding or inciting genocide, and hold those who are accountable. So for this official UN body to come out with assessment is significant. It's not going to matter in the U.S., but in other countries around the world will take this seriously. They do have a responsibility to prevent genocide and not aid or incite genocide. Can be further pressure on the Israelis, and certainly Israelis who are trying to travel abroad. So, that was a significant finding. And then the other piece that we wanted to bring to you guys, if we could put D5 up on the screen, Haaretz did this investigation into mental breakdowns and suicides within the IDF. But in the context of talking to these soldiers about their trauma from what they saw and what they did in Gaza, they also elicited a bunch of confessions of a variety of war crimes committed against Palestinians by the IDF. Let's go ahead and put a couple of these up on the screen so you can get a sense. This says, for my son, a sniper in the Nahal Brigade, changing roles is no longer enough. The wound he describes is already too big. It's gone very deep. It started before, for about 2 months. Every day we have the same mission to secure the humanitarian aid in the northern Gaza Strip. His day and that of his friends begins at 3:30 in the morning, accompanied by drones and armored forces. They set up a sniper position and wait. According to him, between 7:30 and 8:30, the trucks arrive and begin unloading their contents. In the meantime, the residents try to move forward to take a good place in line, but there's a line ahead of them that they do not notice. A line that if they cross, I can shoot them, explains Benny. It's like a game of cat and mouse. They try to come from a different way every time. And I'm there with the sniper rifle, and the officers are shouting at me, take it down, take it down. I shoot 50 to 60 bullets every day. I stopped counting X's. That means deaths. I have no idea how many I killed. A lot. Children. Jesus. So that is a description of that is a confession of the routine aid massacres that journalists, Palestinians, whistleblowers, doctors have been speaking about with regard to aid distribution. I think we have one more for you that we can put up here on the screen. They say they forced him, threatened him. The battalion commander would scream over the radio, why aren't you taking off? They're advancing on us. It's dangerous. He describes an example of the pressure. The feeling is that we're being placed in an impossible situation. No one prepared us for it. The officers don't care if children die, nor do they care what it does to my soul. As far as they're concerned, I'm just another tool. So, it's kind of gross to frame this in the context of like, oh, these poor soldiers who committed war crimes now have trauma and stress, but very useful reporting and confessions of these routine war crimes and atrocities. And the fact that this is coming from the top. Remember, for so long we were sold, Saagar, oh, there may be some rogue bad actors. Right. They're just undisciplined. They need to stop recording this stuff on their phones, et cetera. I mean, now it is just absolutely clear. The plan is from the top. This is an intent of leadership, and the UN just joining the world consensus that this is an intentional genocide, which has been architected from the top.
Well, if anybody wants to dispute this, it's from Israeli media, as usual.
Directly from IDF soldiers.
To quote Mr. Kirk.
Probably not Hamas.
To quote the late Mr. Kirk, I feel like Israelis can criticize their government more than I can. What a country.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show, ad-free, and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.